Have you been trying to transition to a raw vegan diet? Are you finding it's too complicated or you don't even know where to begin? I'm here to help. Today, I'm going to be breaking down my top 10 actionable tips that are easy that you can use to finally be successful in your raw vegan journey. And I'm going to be reading these from my book. I'm the author of How I Went from Sad to Glad, my simple 4 step blueprint to transform your health, weight, and mindset to finally reach your goals with joy and ease. And in April of 2019, I was coming from the standard American diet or standard Western diet. I was eating meat on every plate, dairy, eggs, ice cream, everything that, many of us grew up eating. And I was at my heaviest weight that I had ever been. I was suffering with chronic back pain, and it just really was some way for me to try to lose weight. And what happened was nothing short of a miracle, as I say. Basically, I was looking, Dawn was looking to grow microgreens and sprouts, and she came across this video and asked me to watch it, and it blew my mind. People healing from raw foods. And I said, this could be just crazy enough that I could try it and finally lose weight. So 3 day experiment on raw foods. Within 30 days, I had basically my chronic back pain that I had had for 18 years was completely gone. Within 6 months, I had lost 55 pounds, and I had no idea this would even happen, but I eliminated in the process my seasonal allergies that I had had since a child. And I set out to use my psychology background and also my journey of my healing, and also, how I've been successful and all of the nutritional research that I've done, and create this blueprint for you. And within here, there's 10 tips that I share. So let's get started. I found, because I didn't know a whole lot going in, simplicity was key. So my tip number one is going to be start with the basics. You want to start with fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds. It's that simple. And I always say pick like 4 fruits that you like. You can always add to your, meals later on, but pick 4 fruits that you can kind of rotate, that you already like, that you can use for meals. And then also you want to pick 5 ingredients for a salad. Lettuce can be one of them, the lettuce base. And then within the nuts and seeds category, you want to also pick your favorite nuts. If you prefer seeds, you can do that too. And I would say in the beginning, part of that, keeping it simple, if you can't find something that says raw nuts on it, or you don't know where to find them or order them from, get whatever you can find. Really keep it simple and choose fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds. You don't have to worry about overcomplicating it with a bunch of recipes, which we'll talk about in another tip here. But number two is don't overcomplicate it. With overcomplication comes procrastination, and it's really can be simple. Most people get paralyzed in the, perfect way to transition, get stuck watching endless videos, I say in here, obsessing over meal plans, and then worrying about protein and carbs, and doing it wrong. I'm going to share the ratio that I use as far as the nutrients in another tip, but I would just say to you, definitely don't overcomplicate it. This is really the easiest, simplest diet that I've ever been on. And I want you to treat it like an exciting experiment, like I did. And that's really going to help you, like, to shift your mindset instead of looking at it like something to be cautious of. Look at it as something exciting. And like I said, you don't need gourmet recipes. Fruits and salads, you can always add on later on, level up, but it just keep it very simple. And number three is probably my best tip that actually made me successful. It's take immediate action. Now, once you decide to transition, just go right into it. Like, one of the things that I found worked for me was that evening we happened to already be going to the store, and I was able to go, and I got all excited. I talk about this in another video, like buying school supplies. I bought all these fruits, vegetables. I bought like walnuts, my favorite nuts, and I was so excited. And I was then that brought me to a momentum. I already had all this food, so I was able to then make a salad that evening. And like making the salad was exciting. I'm trying all these things, and I had some blueberries for dessert, and I was going to have that with the nuts, and it just made it really exciting. And I think we have to approach this lifestyle like that so that we can keep that motivation to really want to try something new, something that could change your life like it has for so many of us. And taking quick action also, like I said, builds that momentum and that commitment. Now you're already in, and you won't give yourself time to back out. Keep fats minimal if weight loss is your goal. I talked to you earlier. I was going to tell you the kind of the way that I would organize this lifestyle, especially if you're looking at ultimate healing and weight loss and elimination. You want to try, in my opinion, to do a lot of, high water fruits, and a lot of your fruits as the main basis for your meals. And then when it comes to your salad at dinner and your other meals, I like to keep fat to about 10 to 15%. It's basically an average in the beginning because you're coming from meals that are going to be dense and you're still getting your gut microbiome used to it. You might need to have a little extra healthy fat, which I consider nuts and avocados and seeds and things like that. That's going to really help you in that transition. So don't be too strict on yourself in the beginning. Like what I say in the beginning is do what it takes to just make sure you're not eating any cooked food, and or a minimal amount of cooked food, and trying to add these raw fresh foods to your life, and eating until you're full. And if eating until you're full means, what, I got to have a few extra walnuts so that I can satisfy, to make it, to keep this going until my gut microbiome gets changed over, and then you start craving these foods. In the beginning you're not probably going to be craving them, but as you get them in your system and you start to feel those changes and those effects. I know after 3 days, I had so much energy that I literally just was like, I don't want to stop doing this. And that's when it went to 30 days, and then it went to 60 days. And number 5 is going to be simplify your meals. Now, we've already talked about we need fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds, but one of the biggest mistake is overcomplicating food choices. You want to pick one go-to meal to streamline your transition. Now, for me, it was that big salad with like fresh vegetables, avocado, and then I had like nuts for dessert with my blueberries. Another tip would be mono meals. Like, what are mono meals? They're like eating one thing at a time, basically. Like, I might have, a big bowl of grapes, let's just say, or a big bowl of cherries, and you can have, or oranges, or whatever it is that you like for that first meal. But it's really good for your digestion. And I've also found it's good for helping me identify like my true hunger signals. Like when you are, when you're eating a bunch of different things, sometimes it's the taste you're trying to throw in there. So like especially when you're trying to lose weight and you're trying to really keep it as easy as possible in your digestion, like if your boss is giving you like 100 different things to do at once at work, you just get overwhelmed. That's what we can do to our digestion, especially if we are fairly new to these high fiber foods that are really good for us. We want to also make sure we're taking it easy on our body and only giving it one thing to work on at a time. And then, of course, I eat everything. My salad, I have lettuce, cucumber, celery, I have avocados, and then like my meal plan now is exactly, you want to find some go-to things that you really like. But my meal plan now is pretty much exactly the same as I was eating then, but I've added fruits. And I have another video talking about why I had to add fruits in, and they really made me feel a lot better and maintain my, weight. But I have fruit when I decide to get hungry, and I eat until I'm full, and that'll be for my first, couple of meals. And then for dinner, I have a big salad, and then, I make sure I get my healthy fats on there. And then for dessert, I really love bananas and dates, and those are two things that, especially in the beginning, if you're having issues with filling up, you can definitely have those. And I have a beginner raw vegan guide I would love to have you share with you if you'd like. I'm going to link that here in the comments. And I think you're really going to like the next one. Number 6, make it fun. Let me tell you one of the things that I did in the beginning. A lot of people like to spiralize and make like cucumber noodles, zucchini noodles, and different things like that. They might, like that can excite, make things look really cool, trying different dressings. I know for me, I had one that I would try sweet and one savory, and like within my salad I had certain vegetables that I would dip in the sweet and certain ones that I would dip in the savory. Did I say sour or savory? I meant to say savory. Put like a balsamic in the, and I put these, like, I would get like a piece of lettuce or one of the leafy greens, and I would roll like the sprouts and some corn, a little bit of avocado in there, like little mini lettuce wraps or tacos. Taco about cool. That's one of my puns. But and I would dip it, so it was just like an experience. I remember mentioning this in the book one time. Dawn, my partner, was sitting down with her standard meal, and she like was her standard American diet meal still, as she hadn't gone completely to vegan yet. And she saw me sitting down with my salad, my little dippy cups there for each of my dressings, and rolling it up, and she's like, this makes me want to eat like that. And luckily and thankfully, I'm so blessed to have her. Not only did she bring me the video, but now she also is vegan, and we can have our salads together, and is actually transitioned to raw vegan now. So it's been really cool, or very high raw vegan. And so number 7 is going to be immerse yourself in learning. And that for me also, while I was building these big salads every evening, I was watching transformational like interviews. I was watching other creators. I was watching, people that transformed their life. And then I started getting into the health benefits of things. And I was saying earlier, I don't know if I said this or it was another video, but my salad kept getting bigger and bigger. Like how I said in the beginning, just start with a couple of things you like, because as I would find out the health benefits of cucumbers, here we go, I got to put a little extra cucumber. The health benefits of sprouts, I had to put sprouts on, all these things. And it was fun, and like it was just like a ritual. While I was making the salad, I would watch one of these videos and I would listen. Then as I got even deeper into it, I started learning about our body on a cellular level. And I was like, I just said, I'm like so like nerding out on these things. And that's why I feel like I really feel like it's important that I can help others, because of all these things that I have, and also know how important your mindset is, which is why that's part of the book. Is a lot of this information is mindset. These are the 10 practical tips that I give, kind of actionable tips, but a lot of this goes deeper. So I would love for you to pick up a copy of it. And number 8 is connect with community. Like, it is so important to have a community of people, of like-minded people, especially when you like embark on this journey, because there's going to be everybody in your regular life, your workplace, maybe even your, environment where you live, and your relationships, other people. They're not going to be feeling this likely. It's very uncommon where two people start this at the exact same moment. And also the world that we live in, there's only a small percentage of people, in my opinion, who now know what true health is, and they start to understand what veganism is. And it's a journey. Everybody's in a different place of where they are. So it's important to have people that are where you are on the journey. I just started a new community for women over 40, and it's awesome. It's a fun way to learn and explore. And I'm there, as a coach and guide. And we have game nights. It's really cool. You should definitely check it out. And if you are interested in just joining my free community, I have an amazing plants that so many people are in, and we also have calls, and we have a comment basically community, and we can all really encourage each other. And I also like to keep it really fun on there. That's probably one of the things you'll find is a little bit different, is we have to look at this as an exciting thing. We're not putting anyone, making you feel bad about yourself. Those things that we do that are, even if it's this little bit of progress, we build momentum on that. So definitely join my community. I'm excited to work with you. And remember, I have a free beginner's raw vegan guide that I think I mentioned. Since we're getting a little bit closer here, we have 2 tips left. Revisit your why. That is my tip number 9. This is so important because, we can get kind of caught up in the day to day of this, and maybe some things come up. I talk about triggers and limiting beliefs and different things. And it's so important. Like what I do is if something, I just go back and I watch that video that I watched, that raw video. Maybe that'll be my video for you that, helped you transition. That would really make me feel so good. But anyway, basically I watched this video, and it's like an older video, but it's so cool because it's like it brings me back to that mindset of where I was, in the very beginning, and how I didn't know anything about this, and it was such a journey of discovery. And like I know so much now, but it's still fun to go back and think, man, I just wanted to lose weight, and to remember that energy and things that I felt, how I don't want to have that back pain, how I don't ever want allergies again, how I love this like clarity that I feel, and this like it's just like a compassion and calm. It's really really interesting. If you even want to give it a shot for a couple of days, if you're dealing with any chronic pain or any illnesses, or you just want to clear up, a lot of people clear up skin. And I mean, it's just, I think it could really really be something that could help you. And that's why I'm here. That's why I'm telling this story. um, why did I, remember why you wanted to start the journey. How do you feel when you eat these fresh foods? And, remember that, like I said in my last video, this is like planting a seed. You may not see results because we're on a healing journey. You're not going to see quick weight loss in an unhealthy way like a lot of these diets out here. We're going to keep it so that we just stay with our process: fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds. And continue to try to do this as much as possible, and continue to feel good, build momentum, start feeling good about ourselves, and think about the other things within health, movement and sunlight, and all of that starts building. And you may end up wanting to do raw vegan recipes and smoothies and different things. But for me, that's what worked, and that's why I recommend just keep it very simple in the beginning. And number 10, I want you to remember to focus on abundance, not restriction. I say all the time, when you are moving into something, you have to find something to walk towards. You have to find these things you like that excite you. Maybe it's like me, a big salad. Maybe for you, it is a raw vegan taco recipe. Maybe for you, it's only fruit, and you really enjoy that. And and it's really like, don't worry about what you can't eat or what you're missing in the diet. Obviously, if you have deficiency and you need a supplement, you also want to take it. Some people will tell you, oh, you have to do this, you have to do that. I would challenge you to really make this your own journey. Personally, I take and this is kind of just for me, I take B12 and vitamin D3, and I try to get a lot of sunlight. I've started to make sure I'm moving, but in the beginning, I lost weight without even exercising. But now, it's kind of like, do what you can and where you are, whatever you can add to your life. If right now you can just start adding fresh raw foods to your life, I mean, that's great, because you're figuring out what you love, and as you eat a lot of these, it's going to taste good, and you're going to really start to, like, get into these raw foods and find that you're feeling better. Try to just do fruit for lunch. Really, I would say simplify and really focus on this as an exciting experiment. Things, finding what you love, what you enjoy, being around people, like-minded people, creators like that are online, like me, helping you. Find someone that resonates with you and join these communities and ask questions. Don't be afraid to email me. I leave everything here. I'm always open to answer your questions and help you and find a way that this can fit in your life, and hopefully it'll change your life like it did mine. But remember, love the colorful, like eating your fruits and really enjoying it, and find gratitude that you found this journey. And I would love to know where you are. Remember, this is a journey of discovery, not deprivation. Leave me a comment and let me know if you found this video helpful. And I have a quote at the end of this chapter I wanted to read. Don't simply change your diet, let your diet change you. And then I say, we have the motivation to take action on things we enjoy. So the best way to build momentum is to make these actions fun. And make actions fun, keep it simple, take action, and enjoy the process. And then I go to chapter 8, which is on discipline and the bridge to freedom. This GLAD, SAD is obviously Standard American Diet. GLAD is an acronym, and the first chapter talks about goals, and then we have learning, and then number 3 is action, and action is the chapter that I share a lot of the practical tips in, and how important it is to take action. Again, I'll link the book here if you'd like, and if you are interested in any of my community, or I have free guides. I have a complete beginner's guide to protein. I have a beginner raw vegan guide, and I also have a beginner's guide to veganism. But the raw vegan guide is going to be like the one that I think will be very helpful if you've joined this video. And I would love to have you in my community, so that we can work together and have a lot of fun. Thank you for joining me. My name is Veganowledge JJ, and I'm so happy you're here. I remember, you already have everything inside of you to make you successful. Thank you. I appreciate you, and I'm proud of you.